Andre Kachaturian of Nesson.com, joined with Aljamain Sterling, the Funk Master, who's coming off a big UFC 214 victory against Renan Barão. Aljamain, how's your week been after that big win? What's going on?
The week's been, it couldn't have been any better. It was my birthday last week, Monday, and I was able to celebrate it in a good way after coming off such a big win.
Yeah, that's cool. You beat a pretty big opponent too, Renan Barão, former champion. You were able to take him down. Not a lot of people thought you would have been able to do that. What was your mindset going into that fight, and what did it prove to you to get that victory?
My mindset going into the fight was that I wasn't going to lose a third big fight to a big name. And, I learned my lessons through the other split decision losses, and I realized that I'm actually a lot better than these guys and what people give me credit for, and sometimes even what I given myself credit for going into the fight. I mean, it's one thing to always have confidence, but you always have a little bit of doubt before you actually step in there. But those two split decision losses really let me know where my skill set was, and let me know that I could compete with any of these guys on any given day and take them out. And that was the attitude, and that was the confidence that I brought into fight week. And I think it showed when I was in the octagon with him. I felt like I was able to gauge his speed really, really fast, really early in the first few seconds of the fight. I threw like a hook kick, and he caught it, took me down. And once I got into my groove, I was like, man, this guy has nothing for me on the ground. He has nothing for me strength-wise, and in the speed department, I'm faster than just about every single one of these guys. So I felt good. It was a great way to let the guys know in the entire division that the Funk Master is back.
So you look at your two losses against Caraway and Asensao, though. Again, as you mentioned, split decision losses, very close. Could have really gone either way. In fact, you had more significant strikes in both of those fights against your opponents. So you're ranked number 7 in the rankings. Is that where you feel like you belong, or do you think you should be higher up right now?
I'm definitely higher than 7. In my mind, Barão's only lost to TJ. TJ's lost to Cruz, and Cruz lost to Cody. So in that order, I think I belong in the top 5. I really don't feel like I lost to Asensao, and I really don't feel like I lost to Caraway. You can make an argument for that. Either way, I think another judge on any given on that day, I get my hand raised. So I take it for what it is. Keep it in perspective. If I had gotten my ass whooped, then that's a different story. But I don't think that's what people watch. And when you outstrike your opponents 2-1, and you somehow come up on the short end of the stick, it really makes you have to question the judging and how to figure out how you can overcome it. So I just use those as growing blocks to really just elevate my game, and I think that helped push me to the next level and really make me open up and show, I guess, more so what I'm capable of doing. These are things I'm doing in the training room, and I don't really pull the trigger when I go out there because I always try to fight the smart, safe fight. And the last 2 fights, I just been having fun, and I was like, man, I could fight a little bit more dangerously and still come out just as unscathed and still come out just as dominant. So I think those 2 judges screwing me over, man. I think that just put me in a more dominant position to really show the world what I'm capable of doing.
Yeah, it's tough to get a bad straw like that. But does it bother you that your last 2 wins, they weren't finishes? They went to the judges?
It definitely bothers me because I think I could have gotten both those guys out of there. I think typically when I get guys out of there on the ground, it's usually through submission or TKO. It's not like I'm getting standing knockouts or TKOs. So when I got those guys down on the ground, they were able to tie up my wrist because they were both high-level BJJ guys. And I think that was the major difference between anybody else. If it was anybody else, I think they wouldn't have been able to throw up those triangles and those omoplata attempts, and they probably would have got smashed a lot sooner. So kudos to those guys. Those guys are high-level guys for a reason, and I think that's what that was. But you can't finish them all. But I'm trying. It's not like I'm not out there trying. Definitely going for it.
Now, after your victory, you were talking. They asked you about who's next on your list. You mentioned Brian Caraway. You mentioned Jimmy Rivera. Who are you targeting? Did you really want that rematch with Caraway, or do you want someone in the top 5, top 3 to kind of put yourself in that title shot consideration?
To get that revenge victory would to make it an official revenge victory, that would be sweet. But the ultimate goal is to get the belt. I'm here to change my life. I'm here to change my family's life. And I come from a big family. I got 19 brothers and sisters. You know, so the next logical step, it seems to me, is Jimmy Rivera. I don't think Dominic Cruz is going to take his challenge. He's going to wait to fight the winner of TJ versus Cody, and rightfully so, he could do that. So, in time being, let's how about me and Jimmy mix it up so I can slap him around a little bit and add him to the next scalp into my backpack. I'm got my backpack on and I'm just walking around collecting bodies. So that's the mindset going forward. I'm ready, man. I think I really did show the world. Like, people try to say Burrell's not the same since USADA, or Burrell's not the same since TJ. He's lost to 2 guys, and I'm the 3rd. And the one guy he lost to wasn't even in our weight class, and he was actually winning that fight until he got caught with a big right hand. A bigger guy, big right hand. I think any one of those bantamweights who go up and fight Jeremy Stephens get hit by that guy, probably going to get finished, or probably going to get on the wrong side of a decision. So, I mean, he's as tough as they come still. So I'm not going to let nobody put a damper on that name. That's a huge name, and only 2 guys have been able to do that, and that's TJ and I.
Now, does that like light a fire in you when you walk into the octagon and you're kind of being doubted? You're the underdog against a well-known established fighter like Renan Barão?
No, you know it's crazy because he's walking out before me. His music is playing. He walks out to all I do is win, win, win. Yeah. And I'm bopping to his music, bumping, and then I'm looking around and they tell me to step up because I'm about to be next to walk out. So as I step up, I'm like, you see through the crowd, you can see the stands, you can see everybody up there taking their pictures and yelling at you and whatever. So I look around, I'm like, holy shit, this arena is packed out. And I get motivated by that, coming from being a curtain jerker and fighting in Vegas, my debut, and no one's in Vegas coming to the early prelims. Everyone's out drinking, getting bombed until the main card. So to fight in a huge event like that and that type of magnitude was surreal, and I appreciate every single second of that. I just enjoyed the moment. I was ready to go out there and show out in front of the crowd, and I really did wish I was able to get that finish for everybody, but that in itself, it was a huge memory in itself.
Now, UFC 217 is in Madison Square Garden. Are you eyeing that maybe for your next fight in your hometown?
We'll see what happens. I want to talk to the UFC about some things and get everything straightened out. This is my 3rd fight for the year. I'm looking for a 4th, and hopefully we can make things right and get that 4th one in. And so, but as of right now, I'm chilling. I'm trying to go to Jamaica, do a couple of seminars down there, and just really help elevate the sport. They don't really have like a lot of training mats and stuff like that, and not too many high-level guys I guess at the UFC caliber. So I think it'd be cool for me to go down there for a few weeks, and my sister's wedding down there. So I'm taking some time off to let my body heal. I got some nagging injuries, and hopefully we'll see when we can mix it up. If November is the case, then we could do November, December. I guess we'll just have to figure it out.
Now, you talk about Jamaica. You think of all the Jamaican athletes throughout history. It's such a track and field country. Is your work, or people noticing your work now down there, and are you kind of gaining a lot more attention for the sport?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, you got Uriah Hall, you got Randy Brown. I think at this point, I'm probably one of the higher, I guess, ranked names out there right now for representing the country. I was born here in the U.S., but most people don't know that my parents are raised and born in Jamaica, and their parents as well. So I'm 1st generation, so I'm here, and I recognize my roots, and I definitely love to give back to the community down there.
That's pretty cool, man. And I just saw recently on your Instagram a picture with your Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu brown belt. Now, for those who don't know what that is, explain to them what does that mean?
That's huge, man. I've been thinking I was gonna get it last year. I thought I was gonna get it 2 years ago. I didn't get it at the annual barbecue. I was pretty bummed out about it. But I guess when you beat up a black belt like that in highly touted Renan Barão, and then you got the other guy, Augusto Mendes, I guess it's warranted and well deserved. So, and I was really pumped about that. I got a picture when I had my white belt on and my gi years ago, and I said I'm gonna make this belt change colors as fast as I can, and here I am. I'm officially a brown belt. So no more sandbag. I can't sandbag anymore.
Well, congratulations on that. Now, a couple more things I want to ask you. Of course, UFC 214, the headliner was Jon Jones. You guys went to college together. You've known him for a long time. Was there a specific time back then when you saw Jon Jones and you're like, wow, this guy might be one of the greatest fighters he might in the future?
Yeah, 100%. I recognized his talents and his skill level back in college freshman year, my freshman year. He was he was transferring out of Iowa Central. He was a JUCO college national champ his first year there. He was a New York State champion, and I saw him throw around these All-American guys who were in the room, and I was like, who the hell is this guy? I had no idea who he was. I was new into the sport of wrestling. I started in 10th grade, and right away I recognized his talents, and we kind of clicked where he was showing me some stuff just because we had similar body types, and we spoke about a few things. He was like impressed by how fast I was able to pick up the sport, and so he just showed me a couple things. And then when I transferred schools, I went to Cortland, and he ended up just training right down the road. And I reached out to him on MySpace, and the rest was history. I came down there, and I remember seeing his videos, his fights, his Brazilian Jiu-jitsu competitions, and I was like, man, this guy is just a beast of an athlete. He's just a student of the game. He picks it up so easily, and he puts in a lot of time and puts in a lot of work. And once I saw that he was training and he was on his way to the UFC, I knew. I was like, man, I think I could do exactly what he's doing, and I think I could have just as much success that he's having.
Well, first of all, I'm very surprised by that MySpace reference just now. It's been years
old school.
since I heard about that. It's very old school. That's pretty cool. Is there anything in particular that he taught you while you were training to be a professional?
You just gotta be a student of the game. He told me that was the one of the things he always told me. Always be a student of the game. Always think that you could learn something from somebody, even if they weren't necessarily someone that people would look up to. So even the amateur walking in the room, or even the new guy who's never even trained before, he's like, everyone's got different perspectives on stuff. So it's always nice to not kind of tune them out. Try to see what they can offer, see what you can take from it, and use it to add into your arsenal, or using it, just keep it stored in a database for maybe future reference. There's always a different way you could do things, and I think that was what helped me elevate my game in wrestling in college, because I ended up becoming a 2-time All-American. I came up short my sophomore year, and it was particularly because I was being resistant to my coaches and stuff like that, just doing things my own way. And then I learned, say, man, I gotta do what these guys are telling me, because they've been around the block a lot longer than I have, and these guys they obviously seem like they care, and they see what I don't see in myself, and just doing that, making that mindset switch, was able to push myself and elevate myself to finally become a 2-time All-American, and now here I am today, top 7 in the world.
Yeah. Have you spoken to Jon since his win and your win?
Yeah, I saw him after his fight. Congratulated him. I saw his brother Arthur, and then I also saw him on California, just hanging out. And I stopped by. I didn't want to bother him too much. Obviously there's a lot of people,
yeah,
who want to take his attention, take pictures and stuff. And I'm not that guy. So I know he's obviously there with his fiance, and they just want to have a quiet time. So I definitely respect that, and just want to make sure, I don't overstep my boundaries, because we're friends, but we're not like boys or anything. So
right.
I already, you know how it is.
That's cool that you have that relationship with him, though, dating back to college. Now, one more thing I want to ask you. Everybody's been asking every fighter about what's coming up at the end of the month with McGregor and Mayweather. What are your just general thoughts on that? And who do you think is going to win?
Congratulations for McGregor for getting that fight. I wish I was in his position to get that fight. But you know what? He's the money fight. He's the big name in the sport, and I think it's great for both sports. I have to give McGregor the first 4 rounds to make it interesting. I'm not saying he's gonna drop him. I'm not saying anything like that, but I'm gonna say he's gonna make it interesting for the first 4 rounds. I think his unorthodox style that he's gonna bring to the cage, into the ring. Sorry, he's gonna be able to switch it up. Switch stances. That's something that I don't think Mayweather has ever dealt with. He could bring in guys to try to emulate that, but McGregor's a little bit different when it comes to that kind of striking on the feet. And I think outside of that, McGregor typically gets tired. So I'm going to say Money Mayweather's cardio is always on point. His defense is always on point. He barely gets hit. I think Mayweather should definitely remain undefeated and make it 50-0.
Now, what do you think about the whole thing that, just because of this fight, the UFC, there's literally no cards. Basically, you guys are taking a break until September. So You think that's a good thing, bad thing? What are your thoughts on that?
I think it's a good thing. You know, I think it's going to make the fans hungrier to want to watch the next fight, the next event. I think when you have that absence, it makes you really appreciate something a little bit more. So you got the McGregor fight, and I think that's gonna want to make people tune in. What's this MMA stuff, especially for the casual fans or the diehard boxing fans who may now become more interested and intrigued by MMA and want to tune in to the next MMA event.
Excellent point there, Aljamain. I agree with you. And thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy day to join us. Aljamain Sterling, the Funk Master. Thanks again for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
All right.